Welcome to Mr. Beebop. Since the release of the first novel, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, in June 1997, and the first movie in November 2001, the series have found immense popularity and commercial success worldwide. Whether you're a hardcore fan or a muggle who's only seen the movies, there's no denying that Harry Potter is a pop culture phenomenon. Here are 15 little-known facts that we think might still surprise you. One, Rowling and Harry Potter share a birthday. Both JK Rowling and Harry are born on July 31st. 2. Rowling gave her characters names that reflect their roles in the series. Fans can all agree that Rowling's imagination is superb, and the whimsical names she gave her characters are no exception. For example, Harry's name references his leadership qualities. Harry is the Middle English version of Henry, a name popular among English kings through the centuries. On the other hand, Ron's name pertains to his role as a sidekick. For Ronald, Rowling seemingly looked to the Old Norse Rögnvalder, a title for a ruler's advisor. 3. Hermione was based on JK Rowling. The author loosely based the character on herself when she was 11 years old and chose an otter as Hermione's patronus as it is her favorite animal. She also took the name Hermione from Shakespeare's The Winter's Tale and didn't want a popular name because she didn't want a lot of fairly hard-working little girls to be teased if ever the book was published. 4. Snape was based on a real person. Professor Severus Snape was modeled on a teacher called John Nettleship, who taught the author chemistry. The character's name was inspired by Severus Road in South London, while his surname was taken from a small Suffolk village. 5. Moaning Myrtle was an interesting inspiration. Rowling wrote on Pottermore that the whiny, bathroom-dwelling ghost was inspired by the frequent presence of a crying girl in communal bathrooms, especially at the parties and discos of her youth. This does not seem to happen in male bathrooms, so she said she enjoyed placing Harry and Ron in such uncomfortable and unfamiliar territory in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets and Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. 6. Rowling jotted down the Hogwarts house names on an airplane barf bag. Many people strongly identify with a specific Hogwarts house. You might be surprised to learn then that Rowling first wrote down the words Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff on the back of an airplane barf bag. She revealed this tidbit on Twitter in 2017. 7. Harry Potter was named for his great-grandfather. According to Pottermore, which has since become Wizarding World, Harry Potter shares a name with his great-grandfather, Henry Potter, or Harry to his intimates. Although this ancestor, who lived in the late 19th century and early 20th century, doesn't appear in the books, his timeline would intersect with the Fantastic Beasts era. The Potter family is a very old one, but it was never at the forefront of wizarding history until the birth of Harry James Potter. Eight. The magical plants in the series all come from real-life flora. At a glance, plant names like mugwort and toadflax sound like words pulled from Rowling's boundless imagination. But these plants actually exist in the Muggle world. The plants in the series come from a book called Culpeper's Complete Herbal, written in the 17th century by English botanist and herbalist Nicholas Culpeper. Nine. Only one character in the Harry Potter universe is a figure from Muggle history. JK Rowling made up all her characters except one, Nicholas Flamel. In Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Flamel is the original creator of the Philosopher's Stone, and Hermione searches the library to find more information about him. Flamel was a real man who was a scribe and manuscript seller. After his death, people began to believe Flamel had discovered the Philosopher's Stone and achieved immortality. These stories first appeared in the 17th century. Ten. Rowling was inspired by Edinburgh, Scotland, while writing the Harry Potter series. Rowling has said, "Edinburgh is very much home for me and is a place where Harry evolved over 7 books and many hours of writing in its cafes." Greyfriars Churchyard is where the real Tom Riddle is buried, and an Edinburgh cafe, the Elephant House, is said to be where she wrote the first book. (11) All the spells in the series and Hogwarts' official motto are in Latin. It's no secret that Rowling, who studied classical languages and mythology at Exeter University, is familiar with Latin. The spells in Harry Potter are made up from Latin words. For example, lumos, which turns a wand into a torch, comes from the Latin word lumen, which means light. And obliviate comes from the Latin word obliviscor, which means I forget. The Hogwarts motto is also Latin, Draco dormiens nunquam titilandus, which means never tickle a sleeping dragon. (12) The Harry Potter books have been translated into around 80 languages. Selling more than 500 million copies worldwide, the Harry Potter books have been translated into 80 different languages, from Albanian to Hebrew, and recently to Scots, a language spoken as a first language by 90,000 people. (13) The Dementors were based on Rowling's own experience with depression. Rowling's mother, who had multiple sclerosis, died in 1990, after which Rowling suffered a period of depression. She would use the experience to characterize Harry Potter's Dementors creepy creatures that feed on human emotion. During an interview, she shared that Dementors are based on the hollowed-out feeling of depression. "14. Rowling planned in advance who would die in the series, but she decided to spare one character's life at the last minute. In a battle between good and evil this epic, not everyone will make it through alive. Character deaths are one of the narrative elements that Rowling plotted in advance. Originally, she planned for Ron's dad, Arthur Weasley, to meet a grim fate after he was attacked by Nagini in Order of the Phoenix. But she changed her mind. According to her, there were very few good fathers in the book, and she thinks that Arthur Weasley is actually the only good father in the whole series. "15. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows were given some quirky code names. To prevent early leaks, initial proofs and printouts of the 7th and final book, Deathly Hallows, were given humorous red herring titles by its publisher Bloomsbury, such as Edinburgh Potmakers and The Life and Times of Clara Rose Lovett, an epic novel covering many generations. The book shattered sales records upon release, surpassing marks set by previous titles of the Harry Potter series. It was awarded the Guinness World Record for the fastest-selling fictional book within 24 hours at 8.3 million copies sold, or 345,833 books per hour sold, on the day of its release on July 21, 2007. And here's one more interesting fact. The name Harry Potter was typed out 18,956 times throughout JK Rowling's books. Thank you for watching. See you again next time.